You know that quiet moment when someone asks you for something and your whole body answers before you do. You want to say no. You feel it in your chest. A tired thought says, I cannot do this today. But then you imagine their face. You imagine them feeling hurt, disappointed, or angry. And suddenly, no feels heavy. So you say, sure, I can help. For a few seconds, everything feels peaceful. They feel better. The tension disappears. You feel safe again. But later, when you are alone, something changes. You feel drained. You feel angry, then guilty for being angry. And the hardest part is this. You do not know who to blame because they asked, but you agreed. This is why kind people often have the hardest time saying no. Not because they are weak, but because their brain learned that being useful can protect love. Maybe you are the person everyone comes to. When someone needs advice, they message you. When someone is upset, they call you. When there is extra work, your name comes up. But slowly, something quiet starts to happen. You become available even when you are tired. You answer when you need silence. You help when you are already behind. You agree to plans you do not want. And because you are kind, you tell yourself it is not a big deal. But your body knows it is a big deal. It shows up as tight shoulders, late night overthinking, a heavy mood after helping someone, a strange sadness after saying yes too many times. This is where kindness can turn into self-abandonment. Sometimes it looks saying, no worries, when there are worries. Sometimes it looks like laughing when something hurt you. Sometimes it looks like saying, I'm fine, because explaining your need feels like creating a problem. And deep inside, you may start asking a question you do not say out loud. Would people still love me if I was not so useful? That question hurts because saying no is not only about time. It is about whether you believe you are allowed to exist without proving your goodness again and again. In psychology, kind people often have high agreeableness. That means they value peace, warmth, care, and cooperation. These are strong and beautiful traits. But when care mixes with fear of rejection, the brain can become too focused on keeping harmony. It starts treating every conflict like danger. A normal request can feel like a test. A disappointed face can feel like rejection. A slow reply can feel like punishment. So the brain does what it thinks will protect you. It says yes. But your people-pleasing did not come from nowhere. At some point, it probably helped you survive emotionally. Maybe being helpful got you attention. Maybe staying quiet prevented arguments. Maybe disagreeing caused distance. Maybe you had to read the room before you could relax. So your brain built a rule. If I keep people happy, I stay safe. That rule may have protected you once, but a rule that protects you in one season can trap you in another. It is like wearing armor. Armor helps in battle, but if you wear it every day, you cannot breathe. Saying yes all the time may have been your armor. It kept you liked. It kept you needed. It kept conflict away. But now, it may also keep people from knowing the real you. When someone asks for help, your brain does not only hear the words, it tries to predict what will happen next. Will they be upset? Will they leave? Humans are built for connection. For most of human history, being rejected by the group was dangerous, so your brain still treats social pain seriously. That is why a simple no can make your chest tighten. Your brain is scanning for a threat to belonging. Think of your nervous system like a smoke alarm. A good smoke alarm protects you from fire. But if it becomes too sensitive, it screams when you only make toast. For a kind person, someone's disappointment can feel like smoke. The alarm goes off. Your body says, fix this. And the fastest way to fix it is to say yes. The moment you say yes, the alarm gets quiet. You feel relief. But this relief teaches the brain a habit. The brain learns, when I say yes, the discomfort stops. So next time, the urge becomes stronger. In simple words, your brain reads what gives quick relief, even if it creates pain later. That is why saying no feels so hard. You are not just changing a sentence, you are changing a safety pattern. And safety patterns do not change through shame. They change through practice. The first practice is to stop answering too quickly. When someone asks for something, give your brain a small space. Say, let me check and get back to you. That sentence breaks the automatic path from pressure to yes. It gives the thinking part of your brain time to wake up. Your first answer may be fear. Your second answer may be truth. Imagine a coworker asks you to stay late. Your mouth wants to say, yes, of course, but you pause and say, let me check my evening first. Now you have time to ask yourself, do I actually have space for this? That small pause is not rude. It is self-respect in slow motion. The next practice is to separate their feeling from your responsibility. When someone feels disappointed, your brain may treat it like an emergency. But disappointment is not always damage. Someone can feel disappointed and still be okay. Someone can feel upset and still love you. Someone can have a feeling without you needing to fix it. You can tell yourself, they are allowed to feel disappointed, and I am allowed to have a limit. This helps the brain separate empathy from responsibility. Empathy means, I understand your feeling. Responsibility means, I must remove your feeling. Those are not the same. For example, a friend wants to talk late at night. You care about them, but you are exhausted. You can say, I care about you, but I do not have the energy tonight. Can we talk tomorrow? That is honest care. The next practice is to use a clean no. Kind people often explain too much because they want to prove they are still good. But long explanations can make your brain believe that your boundary needs a court case. It does not. A clean no sounds like this. I cannot do that tonight. I won't be able to help this time. I'm not available for that. You can be warm without being weak. You can be kind without giving people a map to change your mind. The silence after a boundary may feel uncomfortable, but silence is not danger. Sometimes silence is just your nervous system learning a new language. The next practice is to expect the guilt wave. After you say no, guilt may rise. Your mind may say, maybe I was selfish. You may want to send another message and take it back. But guilt is not always a sign that you did wrong. Sometimes guilt is just the feeling of breaking an old rule. If your old rule was never disappoint people, then any boundary will feel wrong at first. Not because it is wrong, because it is new. So when guilt comes, name it. Say, this is guilt. It is uncomfortable, but it is not a command. Each time you say no and survive the discomfort, your brain updates its map. It learns I can have a limit and still be safe. The final practice is to protect your real yes. Every time you say yes out of fear, your yes loses meaning. It becomes a tool for avoiding conflict. But when you learn to say no, your yes becomes cleaner. It becomes something you choose. Think of your energy like a small lamp. If everyone takes from it all day, the light becomes weak. Boundaries are not there to hide the light. They are there to protect it. So when you say yes, it can actually mean something. You can help with a full heart. You can love without feeling trapped. Kindness without boundaries becomes exhaustion. Kindness with boundaries becomes trust. Because people begin to trust the real you. The one who has needs. The one who has limits. The one who can love deeply without being endlessly available. So the next time someone asks you for something, notice the first feeling in your body. Notice the rush. Notice the fear. Then pause. Ask yourself one quiet question. Am I saying yes because I want to, or because I am scared of what will happen if I say no? That question changes everything. Because the goal is not to become less kind. The goal is to stop using kindness as a way to stay safe. You do not need to become hard. You do not need to become selfish. You do not need to stop caring. You only need to remember that your needs are also part of the room. Your limits are also part of the truth. And the people who truly love you should not only know your giving, they should also know your no. Because a peaceful yes can only grow in a life where no is allowed. And maybe that is the quiet lesson. The kindest people do not need to give more. They need to stop disappearing while they give.